Thank you all for joining us for the Transparency and Strategic Projects Division presentation. From here on forward, if I say SPD, it's a lot easier to say than Strategic Projects Division, so you'll know moving forward what SPD means. First off, I want to see if y'all are still awake after lunch. How many of you are familiar with the Strategic Projects Division and know what we do? Show of hands is fine. So probably over 50%. The following slide shows the projects that are procured throughout the state. We have two silos here. We've got traditional project delivery, which consists of your typical design, bid, build projects performed through the districts. And then we've also got the innovative project delivery silo, which is TxDOT's large complex projects. Those are, bear with me here. Okay. Those are seen here on the right side of the screen. The Innovative Project Delivery Programs is administered under the Strategic Projects Division. To show transparency, the Texas Legislature has provided TxDOT with the authority to enter into these types of contracts that allow for innovation. The process for how TxDOT structures and procures these contracts is well defined by state law and the Transportation Code. I will provide an overview of the procurement and selection process in upcoming slides. To provide an overview of these innovative project delivery methods, the DB contract is a single contract for design and construction that may include capital maintenance, but no private investment or operation. A CDA, or Comprehensive Development Agreement, is a single contract that may allow for private investment, maintenance, and operations. A little background on TxDOT's ability to pursue innovative project delivery. TxDOT first received authority to use design, build, delivery in 1991. Since then, modification to state legislation and TxDOT procedures have changed and improved. In summary, House Bill 749 authorized TxDOT to perform public-private partnership projects. In 2002, Texas' first design-build project, SH-130, segments 1 through 4 in the Greater Austin metropolitan area, proceeded forward. Followed closely in 2007 by TxDOT's first concession project, which was SH-130, segments 5 and 6. There was a moratorium in 2007 as anti-toll road sentiment grew, and with that, unfortunately, we lost the ability to pursue these larger design-build projects. But thanks to the legislature in 2011, we got new CDA authority authorizing specific projects, in this case 11 projects that TxDOT could enter into. In 2013, the 83rd legislature authorized additional CDA projects, both for TxDOT and for RMAs to pursue. And in the 2015 84th legislative session, TxDOT also received additional guidance from the legislature as well on what we can and can't pursue. So Strategic Projects Division is a fairly small division within TxDOT, less than 100 people plus invaluable consultants. We have a centralized operation for procurement and implementation coordination in Austin, as well as our division leader and deputy division leader at Greer. And then we have 3 satellite offices, one in Dallas-Fort Worth, Metroplex, headed up by Renee Lamb, who just introduced me. The South Central office, headed up by Frank Holzman, who opened up the session here, whose area covers everywhere from El Paso to Brownsville, Presidio, you name it. Frank's kind of the catch-all for the rest of the state. And then in Houston, we have our third SPO office. Now this slide I've put up here shows how large the TxDOT P3 program is. It shows the value of the projects in various stages, from pre-procurement, procurement, implementation, operations, and maintenance, and TxDOT's alternate delivery program. SPD, in connection with the districts, oversees the planning, procurement, and implementation of these projects, where transparency is a key factor to project success. As mentioned before, there is a specific authority for alternative delivery legislature that has been identified specific for CDA projects and regional mobility authority projects. Recent legislation kept the list of projects with no additional authority. However, we still have the current list that has not yet expired. That expires at the end of the fiscal year in August of 2017. Now, this is everybody's favorite slide. Who wants to volunteer to answer what is transparency? Not everybody at once. So we see here transparency is the openness, accountability, and straightforwardness in these alternate delivery projects where constant collaboration, sharing information, and responsiveness is necessary for successful projects. TxDOT performs training on innovative delivery projects, and similar to these short courses, has reached out to industry and constantly seeks to improve. There are several methods to do business with TxDOT through professional services contracts that typically provide services at the planning, procurement, and construction phase, and as a developer or team member. As you see here, professional services contracts that you can see within SPD, we have general engineering consultant contracts that help support statewide efforts, procurement engineering contracts that help support procurement of these large P3 contracts, independent engineering contracts that also assist with oversight of P3 projects, and then program management contracts primarily used for right-of-way and Don Toner's group to help with right-of-way acquisition. On the non-TxDOT industry side, industry, so to speak, we have those pursuing these contracts either as part of the design build team or comprehensive development team, depending on the type of project that is being pursued. In the procurement delivery process summary seen above, for these innovative projects requires additional oversight and transparency. From the planning stage, projects that are categorized as CDA projects have been identified through state statutes. TxDOT is also authorized to identify 3 additional design build projects per fiscal year beyond those identified under CDA. This slide also shows an overview of the milestones at which Texas Transportation Commission is required to take action on innovative project delivery. Commission action is required to proceed forward with each of these steps, including issuance of the request for qualifications, issuance of the approval of issuance of RFP approval or request for proposal approval, and also finally conditional award. Texas Transportation Commission is also responsible for planning and making policies for the location, construction, and maintenance of state highways, overseeing design, construction, maintenance, and operation of the state highway system, and developing statewide transportation plan that contains all modes of transportation, including highways, turnpikes, aviation, mass transit, railroads, high-speed railroads, and maritime. Awarding contracts for the improvement of the state highway system is also approved by the Texas Transportation Commission. Every Transportation Commission meeting is a public meeting. You can attend either at the Greer Building or when they rotate out and do satellite meetings. Occasionally they'll meet in other cities. You can either attend the meeting or watch online. Now on this side we have the proposal selection, typical of evaluations on the P3 projects that we do in SPD. It's based, unlike design bid build, which is a low bid system where you accept the low bid. These design build projects is procured under parent best value. Best value determination is made by combining the price score with the other three scoring factors seen here. Percentages of the breakdown of the scoring is approximate. Cost of the project, of course, is still the key driver, as well as the schedule component and quality component. Now, during the procurement process, the scoring is readily available in the RFQ for shortlisting and in the RFP for procurement of the actual parent best value proposer. So the percentages and the weightings is not anything that's hidden from the public. And here's typical breakdown of risk allocation assignments. Depending on the type of agreement, there are certain risk allocations. Typically within design build projects, all environmental, traffic, revenue, financing, acquisition, operations, and maintenance is retained by TxDOT. Of course, varies from project to project. Certain contracts may have a shared risk component for the acquisition of right-of-way and utilities, and even though a toll component is not required for an innovative project, there are some key elements when a project is tolled depending on the contract type. During the procurement process, we typically have several one-on-one meetings, especially with the shortlisted proposers, discussing these risks and allocations, so there's never any misinterpretation of who actually holds what risk, and the potential proposer can bid accordingly. Alternative delivery concepts. Alternative delivery concepts allow for contractor-developer innovation that has resulted in cost savings to the state and taxpayers of over $425 million. And that's tallied 12 different projects, roughly 88 ATCs that we've accepted. Even though the ATC process, evaluation process maintains strict confidentiality through the RFP, stipend or payment for work product payments are still paid to unsuccessful proposers that allow TxDOT to utilize these innovative concepts that they have provided with their proposals. Committees and task force. Transparency within the Strategic Projects Division is shown through collaboration and surveys with the industry on improving our innovative project delivery methods, streamlining contracts, and identifying key personnel and minimum requirements. Transparency within TxDOT is achieved through collaboration with cross-functional divisions, sharing information that would lead to project success, ongoing training on delivery methods, and partnering with the districts, where their staff is involved from the planning, procurement, implementation stages of the project along with SPD. Can't emphasize enough how much the districts are an integral part of everything SPD does. SPD and the districts that we're performing projects with work hand in hand, are deeply reliant on each other. Additional items on committees and task force. House Select Committee on Transportation Planning, which is chaired by Representative Pickett, is tasked with finding ways to bring greater transparency to the process by which transportation projects are funded. The purpose of the committee is to review and evaluate transportation revenue projections, funding categories, and project selection criteria, rules, and policies for project prioritization and selection, methods of financing, and performance evaluation metrics. This special committee will be providing a report to the legislature by the end of 2016, and this is in addition to, as General Weber described earlier, and Commissioner Chairman, that Commissioner Vandegrift is also pursuing transparency reporting. Project data and funding sheets. How many of y'all have gone onto TxDOT's website or Strategic Projects Division page and clicked on project sheets and funding sheets to review? So not too many. On the TxDOT Strategic Projects Division webpage, there'll be a tab that is titled Project Sheets and Funding Sheets, and clicking on that will open up all the different ongoing projects TxDOT has in SPD. And there'll be, on one side, the name of the project is a direct link that'll take you to the project webpage and give you more information about the project. Or on the other side is a PDF tab, which you can click on, which will pull up a representative project data funding sheet right here. On the first part, which is not seen here, you'll see a typical section and roadway design that's being pursued for the project. And then in the second half, you'll see here we have the estimated capital cost, the estimated funding sources, project schedule, and then any additional TAC code requirements and reporting that may need to be designated. It's important to note on these estimated funding sources, depending on the type of project, it could be public funds, it could include federal funds, there might be a private financing component on it, and all that's going to be detailed here in the estimated funding source for full disclosure. On a side note, I would also like to add that Prop 7, which we'll be voting on in November, that General Weber touched on, will help TxDOT pursue more projects. The Prop 7 money cannot be used on toll roads, but must emphasize that Strategic Project Division doesn't do solely toll roads. We do innovative project delivery, which includes design build that doesn't have to be tolled. Best example is the US 181 Harbor Bridge project in Corpus Christi that was just contract executed last week. Also online on TxDOT Strategic Projects Division website, when we issue an RFQ, we will post the RFQ and all relevant information, including reference information documents, online on the Strategic Projects tab underneath the specific project. Additionally, we will also, when we issue the final RFP, we will post that online as well, so everybody has access to the documents. Once we get to shortlisting during the RFQ stage of the procurement, the presentation that was presented at the commission meeting as well as the shortlist is also going to be on the project webpage. During the RFP stage, when final selection has been approved by the commission presentation as well as team summaries will be posted on the project pages as well. Additionally, if y'all have ever gone to the Transportation Commission tab on the TxDOT website, it'll give you the agendas for each meeting, minute orders, and additional information is needed.